You could still love a woman, but these days it's totally different. But one thing is constant: our love for you will never diminish, whether we have money or we do not have. It will always be constant right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, because we always work round the clock to give you that radio experience that you can always count on. I am Cassandra Yunumbe, and it's been an amazing time so far right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja on the Media Extra Show. Remember, I told you that we will be bringing you the Agropreneur Hour, but permit me to apologize for our inability to start the program at the scheduled time. Permit us now to do it now, because you know what they say, it is better late than never. However, it is very important that we register our apologies and our sincere apologies. We sincerely apologize for starting behind schedule, but it is better late than never. All right, today on the Agropreneur segment on Eagles 102.3 FM, talking about the Midday Extra Show, we shall be exploring Naik agricultural insurance products, understanding coverage and premiums, basically talking about the agricultural insurance products that are available when you get to, get yourself acquainted, and not just acquainted, when you get to insure your you insure your farming venture or your agricultural venture with the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, talking about NAIC. And like I hinted earlier, we shall be looking at some of the insurance products that they have, and also we will try to understand the coverage and premiums as well. So keep it locked right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And to do justice to this, I have here with me a representative of NAIC, talking about Dr. Emmanuel Peter. He is the manager underwriting for NAIC. He's not a new face on the show. So welcome once again, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I know that it's because we treated you well the last time. That's why you're back again.
Yes, and
thank you so much. Well, that's the experience you get on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And today right here, it's not going to be any different, like I said, because it's all about doing the right thing, so that you don't just go into farming, but you go into farming with the right information, because we know that information is power, information is security, and you need to have the right information and of course do the right thing for you to get profit from whatever it is that you're doing, especially as a farmer. And now today right here, we shall be talking about some of these agricultural insurance products. But what I do here on every segment of this show is I get to ask, what is NAIC? Because every day we know that someone new might be listening to the show. Even if I say it's the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, it may not be very substantive compared to what you, a representative of the corporation, would say. So please give us an understanding of what NAIC is about.
The NAIC is an acronym for the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, an insurance corporation fully owned by the federal government, born out of the yearnings and expectations of the farmers to get back to business whenever loss is arising from natural hazards, pests, diseases affect their farmlands.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. Now, moving on to the fact that there is a need to insure agricultural products, or basically insure agricultural venture, or whatever it is that farmers are doing, whether on the large scale or small scale. Can you just give us an idea of what the agricultural insurance scheme is about as regards NAIC?
Okay, the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Scheme is basically formed to compensate farmers when they suffer losses to their crops, livestock, and other agricultural commodities.
Okay.
Now, this gives the farmers the ability to go back to business whenever they suffer loss. It also encourages the financial institution to lend more to agriculture. Okay. Now, before the advent of NAIC, financial institutions are unwilling to lend to agriculture because of the inherent risk involved. Now, but the agriculture insurance serves as an added collateral to the farmers. Thus, the financial institutions are now at liberty to lend more to agriculture. Now, this encourages farmers to get more money, expand their production, and also to venture into other more risky businesses that they ordinarily wouldn't have ventured. But with the NAEC insurance backing, they can attempt to diversify their agricultural production. So this also helps the government, instead of providing ad hoc assistance to farmers when losses occur, say as a result of flood and other things. The farmers are at liberty to go to the insurance company if they are insured to get compensation.
Wow. Well, I think the conversation is basically just getting started right here as we have the manager on the writing for NAIC. He is Dr. Emmanuel Peter, and he's here on the Media Extra show talking about the Agropreneur segment to tell us about some of those agricultural insurance products that are available when you get to register with NAIC to insure your products or farm produce so as to be protected under the cover. Now, what are some of those items that are under this insurance cover by NAIC?
Okay, the NAIC actually started with 2 products.
Okay.
For crops and 2 products for livestock. For crop, it was maize and rice, while for livestock, it was poultry and cattle.
Okay.
Now, but it has diversified over time. NAIC, it may interest to have over 30 years of experience and of existence. So over time, because of the yearnings and aspiration of the farmers to get insurance for the various classes of agricultural venture they are doing, NAIC has also diversified.
Okay.
So for food crops, for example, we have a lot of them, all the cereals, rice, maize,
cassava,
sorghum, root crops like cassava, yam, wheat, granite, all the legumes, beans, and all these are insured under the food crops insurance. Now, this insurance, in order to encourage, of course, farmers to, like I said, continue massive production and to ensure food security for the nation, government thought it wise to give a sort of rebate on the premium. That is sort of like subsidy. So farmers get to pay only 50% of what is expected of them, and government pays the other 50% on behalf of the farmers.
Okay. All right. Now, when you talk about premium, we all know what premium is. It's basically just trying to get more advanced services or something that is more advanced or of more quality. But we'll definitely come to that. I would still want us to look at some of those. I don't know if you've exhausted some of those things that are covered, because I think the other time we had some of your colleagues tell us that it's not just about the crops, it's not just about the poultry, it's also about I think in the process the maintenance of vehicles, and also in case there is a breakdown in transportation and stuff like that.
Okay, now the NAIC agriculture insurance is across the value chain.
Okay.
That is from pre-production, in fact from input supply up to when the product reaches the table. So there you can have a lot of policies along the value chain. For example, at importation, you can have marine policy, where farmers or agro dealers had to import all the inputs they require, from the fertilizer to improve seeds, other chemicals, and all these things. Now I provide insurance for them, like marine cargo, which for the importation of this input from overseas while on sea, in case of damages as a result of all the risks that are involved with sea operation. When it reaches the port, from the port to the warehouse, there is an insurance for it. Goods in transit. So when you are moving those goods from the port to the warehouse or to the market, there is an insurance for it. Now when the farmer goes to buy these inputs are also insured. Now the farmer goes to do the real production. That is, there's an insurance for crop, for example, from germination to physiological maturity. That is from when you plant the crops to the various stages of development of the crop up to when you harvest them. There is an insurance for it. That is crop insurance. It ends there. But after the harvest, there are other risks that can also happen while you are transporting these goods or grains, for example, from the farm either to your house, to the warehouse, or you are taking it to the market. There is another insurance that can take care of that, goods in transit insurance. While in store, where you have stored the grains, for example, there is also risks that are involved. For
Yes.
example, there could be fire, there could be burglary, you know. So
Even I think even in the home, pests could still
yes,
to them.
yeah. So all those things, there is an insurance for it. There is a policy we call combined fire and burglary insurance at a premium, like you said. It's not free. So
Okay.
we provide that insurance. So the insurance is across the valley and for all classes of crops, for all classes of livestock, even for the machineries that are on the farm. There is an insurance for the machineries on the farm. So everything that is involved, you know, farming is a business, and the business is not just to produce, but to produce and also make profit.
Of course.
So there is an insurance for it, so that the farmer doesn't suffer losses.
All right. We are still discussing NAIC agricultural insurance products, but today we shall be looking at the basic risks that are covered by this insurance policy and also the premium rates. Because when we talk about premium, what comes to mind is that it's of quality and of course it's going to be more advanced. So if you want to get quality, you're definitely going to pay more. But it seems like there is good news, because he said something about the government paying more and then also subsidizing it for farmers as well. Now, away from some of these basic risks that are covered by NAIC, could you tell us about the premium services? What exactly is it about this premium insurance cover or rates, as the case may be?
So I think on this it is better we take them one after the other.
Please go ahead.
Because there are farmers that are involved in crop alone. There are others that do livestock. There are others that don't even go to farm to do the production. They only wait at harvest. They buy the grains and store.
Okay.
So different policies for different players across the value chain.
Okay.
Now, if you take those farmers that do, say, food crops, for example, which I have listed, the cereals, the legumes, the root and tubers, and the rest, the risk that is involved is basically risk of production,
Okay.
such as pests and diseases, fire, lightning, windstorm, flood. These are the major risks that affect production.
Okay.
Now, you can see these risks are much, especially flood. Now, even if flood does not occur, where there is shortfall of rainfall, there is drought, that is also covered.
Okay.
So whichever way, it's a win-win situation for the farmer. So the premium rate is statutory. When I say statutory, it means it is set by the government, because we are owned by the government. Ideally, it should be more than what I'm going to say now, but we are constrained because government set NAIC as not for profit organization, but to support
For
farmers.
yeah.
So all these are looked into. So the basic rate is actually 4% for food crops.
Okay.
But like I said earlier, farmer is only expected to pay half of that. That is 2%. The remaining 2% is being paid on behalf of the farmer by the government
Okay.
in a ratio of 3:1. That is, federal government pays 2/3, while the state government, where the business is domiciled, pays
Okay.
1/3 of the business of the
okay.
premium. Now, that is that about food crops. Then there are also cash crops. Now, these cash crops are basically the three crops, like the cocoa, the rubber, the palm fruit, you know, all those ones, sugarcane, all cotton and the tobacco. Those crops or farm items which is basically done by the farmer for profit,
Okay.
majorly on a large scale. So on this type of crops, there is no subsidy, but the premium is reduced because there is no much risk that is involved. What do I mean? For a tree crop, for example, a mature palm tree or a rubber tree, the risk of flooding is basically minimal because the tree has already established. Pests and diseases is very minimal. The only risk is fire. That is what we call the policy plantation fire insurance.
Okay.
So the major risk that is covered there is fire, and we encourage farmers to do to have good agronomical practices by, for example, in a plantation, tree plantation, they should try to weed all the grasses around.
Okay.
You know, create fire traces of about 3 meters away from the farm, have fire fighting equipment on the farm. So this helps to reduce the risk. And so the farmer, we charge between 1.5 to 4%. And again, depending on the stage of development of the tree,
Okay.
and again, depending on the risk management practices which the farmer has put in place, which I have also mentioned. So a farmer that has a good agronomic practices, have done the basic risk management practices on the farm, of course he has advantage of paying less premium because the risk of fire is will be minimum on the farm.
Okay. So, like you said, agronomic practices, is it just weeding around just to clear it, or are there other practices that farmers can actually go ahead to
Okay,
do?
now the plantation fire insurance, it is for already established trees. It is
Okay.
not. It does not cover the crops or the trees while they were still in nursery.
Okay.
It is only for trees that have been transplanted to the field
Oh.
and have been established. So they are expected to weed the place. They are expected, like I said, to do fire tracing. Fire tracing is like to clear the area,
So that fire does not spread.
jump from one stage to
Yes.
the other. Like I said, have firefighting equipment like fire extinguisher and the rest, and also have maybe a tank of water around in case of fire and other things. So all those things will help to reduce the risk of fire. Like I said, fire is the major risk that is associated with this type of cover.
Oh, okay.
So all those catch crops are covered on that rate of 1.5% because, like I said, diseases are not usually associated with it.
Okay.
Again, that is that about crops.
All right.
Then we go to livestock. And before livestock, we have poultry. You know, poultry is categorized on its own. That is all other birds and other things. Now, for poultry, you know, there is the risk are majorly diseases.
Okay.
Diseases associated that can cause loss of the birds. You know, so and the risk of diseases in poultry, you know, is very high, especially if the birds are not even vaccinated against endemic diseases that are common in the area. So here, because of the nature of the risk, which we feel is very high, the premium rate is 5%.
Okay.
Again, it is subsidized by 50%.
Oh.
So farmer is expected to pay 2.5,
Okay, 2.5.
and then government takes care of the
2.5.
balance of 2.5. So that is that about poultry. Beyond poultry, then we have livestock, like domestic livestock, for example.
Okay.
Cow, goat, sheep, piggery, and the rest in that category. Again, the risk is loss of the animal as a result of disease or accident or injury that can lead to death of the animal. Fire, flood, and lightning and windstorm. All those things that can cause loss of the animal. Now, that is that about domestic animals. For piggery, there is a common disease called African swine fever, which is very, very devastating. In fact, it is like Ebola. Once it happens, it wipes out the whole entire pig. Even if it did not wipe it out, because of the public health implication, government,
You have to do away
you have
with
to do away with them. It's just like bird flu in poultry.
poultry.
You have to do away with them. So there is an additional premium. The basic cover does not cover African swine fever,
Okay.
so it is excluded. But in order to accommodate farmers that come and ask for it, NIAC has made provision for an extension of cover. Extension of cover means you pay extra to get extra
Okay.
cover.
Okay.
So you pay extra premium beyond the 2.5 that you are supposed to pay, and then it gets to cover you up to African swine fever. But it is, like I said, optional. For poultry, avian influenza or bird flu is also excluded on the basic cover, but it can be accommodated on payment of additional premium.
Okay. Now, permit me to ask, why is it excluded?
Okay, it is excluded because in agri insurance, or I say in livestock insurance or poultry insurance, the insurance covers only diseases that are preventable by vaccination. That is diseases that you have vaccination on ground.
Okay.
Vaccination is like immunization that we give human. That is, the birds gets sort of cover or immunized or vaccinated against diseases that are expected to harm them in the future.
Okay.
So they get to get this form of shield. Now, it is only those diseases that have vaccination that insurance covers.
Okay.
So, but these other two diseases, there is no vaccination for them as of yet.
It can only be tackled when they have happened.
When they have happened, and if it has happened, there is no remedy. Like
You have to start afresh.
you have to start afresh, and again, the farm has to be depopulated. I mean, all the beds have to be condemned, buried, so that it doesn't spread
to a new set
to other,
of poultry
even
or-
to other farmers around.
Yes.
Because if it spreads to another farm, we end up having the whole population of that particular class of animals wiped out, and so we'll have problem with food production or meat production.
Okay.
So that is why these are not covered, because we know once it happens, we know we are on our own 100%.
Okay.
You cannot salvage anything.
You have to start from the
You have
scratch.
to start, and then insurance will pay for everything. So that is why insurance are running away from it. But again, because I say we are owned by the government, we cannot just say no to the farmer. So we have to find a way around it to accommodate it.
Okay. So that's where the farmer has to pay
An
extra
extra.
for extra. Okay.
Yes.
All right, you stay tuned and listening to Eagles 102.3 FM, and it's Agropreneur right here. And today we have a representative of the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation talking about Dr. Emmanuel Peter. He is the manager on the writing for NIAC, and he's been talking to us about agricultural insurance products with particular emphasis on basic risk covered by NIAC and also the premium rates so far. You know, when we talk about premium, it means that it's quality and you have to pay extra for it, and that is what we've been trying to shed light on. At this point, you have to take a breather, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here. Please stay with us.
Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja, here to stay.
Attention, all farmers, agropreneurs, and future agricultural champions. Are you ready to take your farming to the next level? Join the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation as we bring insight, tips, and expert advice on the Agropreneur. Tune in to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja every Wednesday by 11 a.m. and discover how you can safeguard your farm and maximize your field. This is brought to you by the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, dependable partners in time of loss.
Thinking about a show with an extra little spice? Crack your ribs and banter till you tire.
I can tell you got big energy.
The Midday Extra is a mix of fun, entertainment, and sick jokes.
Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja, here to stay.
Welcome back. You stay tuned and listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and this is Agropreneur. We have been exploring the various agricultural insurance products that are available at NIAC, and also looking at some of the risks that are covered by the policy, insurance policy, and also the premium covers, because we have the basic ones and then we have the premium ones, and that is what we've been trying to differentiate right here and throw more light on. And so far, the conversation has brought it to light that there are some of the things or risk that may happen that you have to pay extra for, and that is the one for the African swine fever disease, and also I think you mentioned the bird flu as well, because somehow you need to start from afresh. You need to start all over, so it's going to cost extra for you to start all over. So that is what we have been looking at here, and I have here with me the manager on the right in NIAC, Dr. Emmanuel Peter, and he has been doing justice to this so far. Thank you so much for coming once again.
Happy to be here.
All right, now moving on to the next one, talking about commercial livestock. Could you just expatiate on this and throw more light about this? Is it basic or it's also premium?
Now, the commercial livestock are livestock that are kept either for fun or for pleasure or for business. Okay. They are not food animals. You know, things like dogs, horses, cats, camels, zoo animals, all these keep them for pleasure, for prestige. Okay. You know, so there's no subsidy on them because it is for your own pleasure. So, and most people that keeps it have the ability to feed
Cater
them
for
and
them,
cater for them. Of course, they should be able to pay the premium in full.
Okay.
Again, but the risks are all the same with that of the domestic animals, like
Okay.
injury that leads to diseases or death, accident. All these are covered. Death as a result of fire, flood, storm, lightning. All these are covered.
Okay. All right. Now moving on to the next one, which is fishery and fish farm. It's becoming quite popular. A lot of people are venturing into this aspect of agriculture. Could you just tell us more about it as well?
Okay, the cover for fishery is against losses due to diseases, fire, storm, lightning,
Okay.
flood, and also collapse of dam as a result of either flood or
okay.
So the fishes are either kept either in pond or in the pond, either earthen ponds, concrete ponds, or even in plastic pond and collapsible ponds. So wherever they are kept, there are risks of diseases, for example.
Yeah.
But majorly the risk of the collapse of pond, especially earthen ponds, when there is flood, it can wash away the
possible
fishes
to
away.
flood, yeah.
Again, this is a major loss beyond the diseases. So it can also be extended to cover the damage to the pond, meaning insurance pays both for the fish and for the reconstruction of the ponds. So all these are covered. The risk is massive, like I said. So the rate is also 5%. Again, it is subsidized by half. So the farmer gets to pay 2.5% and government pays the extra 2.5% on behalf of the farmer.
Okay. All right. Now moving on to the next item that I have here is the combined agri produce and marketing insurance. Could you throw light on that as well?
Okay. At the beginning, we talked about agri business across the value chain.
Okay.
These are some of the value chain activities that happens for in the agri product.
Okay.
That is post-harvest activities. These grains or farm produce, some of them are moved from the farm
Okay.
to the store or from the farm to the market. So there are insurances that are involved along these chains. Insurance against overturning of vehicles, due to accident, thereby losing the farm produce.
Okay.
So that GIT takes care of that. GIT is goods in transit insurance. That is while you are moving the goods. If anything happens to the vehicle, either fire or accident or anything,
Now
the
you can
grains
take responsibility
for that.
Okay.
But then while in store too, there are also risk of fire, there's risk of burglary, risks of pest and disease, which are covered under the combined fire and burglary, or fire and they call them fire and extra perils. They are all covered. Again, even if there is flood that affects the store and damages the stored grains or whatever type of farm produce, this insurance will cover. So it is a multi-peril cover.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel Peter. You've been doing so much alongside your organization just to help farmers to know that there is so much that they stand to benefit if they take the right steps. And today again, I'm hoping that it's been an insightful one right here to not just talk but to also engineer action, because we want to see a situation where people invest and they get returns for their investment. It's not just about carrying so much money to put into farming and at the end of the day you will not get your returns. And in the case that something happens, there is an organization that is saying that we are going to cover you. We are like that umbrella. It's either we prevent it from happening, or in the case that it happens, we are there to help you out. So what are you waiting for? Take the chance and of course try to see how you can protect your investment, your agricultural investment, and also to maximize profit. But that will only happen when you recourse to the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Company. I don't know if you have any contact to give to anyone that is trying to, reach out to you somehow to your organization just to have an idea of what they need to do. Someone that wants to register or go forward with actually insuring their farm produce as well.
Okay, our contact is on our website, and it can be reached on www.naec.gov.ng.
Okay.
So when you go there, you see our contact information are there. There are some phone numbers that you can call that will be displayed there, and then we take it up from there.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming, Dr. Emmanuel Peter. I'm
Thank
hoping
you.
to see you again right here on the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy
All
to
right,
be here.
thank you. All right, dear listener, it's very important that you get the right cover. And with NAEC, you are definitely guaranteed of getting that right cover because they give you that cover across the value chain. It's an all-round kind of thing for you. So please take advantage and do the right thing so that you do not say, had I know, because it's very important that you go into investment with the right mindset and with the right information. And I hope that this program today has been able to convince you better to take the right decisions and, of course, equip yourself with the right information. I am Cassandra Yinimbe. Stay tuned and keep listening to Eagles 102.3 FM. Abuja is still the Media Extra show right here. Keep listening to us.